This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pitstop, where you, my friends, are the real star of today's show, because we are here to talk about the sim racing news and everything going on in our wonderful world. Happy Friday to everybody. I love Fridays. Fridays kick off the weekend for everybody, and I have to say this weekend is not going to be my favorite weekend because I'm actually moving. So immediately following this show, I'm breaking down the rig, and it's full steam ahead until Sunday night. Hopefully, we'll make it back on the air Monday morning. That's my hopes. Don't hold me to it. I'm going to try as hard as I possibly can. But nonetheless, it is all for the best of reasons. My run here in Port Hueneme, I've really enjoyed living on the beach, basically. But it has come to an end. Moving to Thousand Oaks, back into normal civilization, I guess you could call it as well. And hopefully that'll be better internet. So that's the one thing I'm very optimistic for the future, is that everything will just end up being better for the show. That's what I'm always hoping. Every move I make, I'm hoping it works better for the show. So anyway, that is my weekend. I hope you guys are going to get out there and race and have fun instead of being like me and having to break your back and aggravate yourself. But it's also a chance for me to clean up some things and get organized and get focused for the future, because we have a lot coming. After this move, it is going to be full speed ahead. I guarantee you that. So, what's going on in sim racing? You know, Forza Motorsport, they had difficulties getting, breaking down again. At least it's not an emotional breakdown. This is just a physical breakdown. But Forza, you know, they had a little trouble getting that latest patch update. Inclusion of new stuff into the sim, and it did finally make it out. And maybe we know why. It was actually kind of a big deal. And that one thing they've now introduced is race telemetry. So you can get a lot more involved in your Forza experience. Now, I don't think this is race engineer like a lot of you guys are thinking. This isn't adding Motec or Pi or Atlas or any of those things to it. It's just a real simplified version of a more enhanced experience when you're watching, I think is the best way to put it. Yes, better internet would be awesome, Kimber. We all want better internet. Wouldn't that be great if I could get a flyby? Wouldn't that be something? And I live right next to the Air Force base, well, Navy base. So, and yes, I am always on the move. Am I going to vlog my move? I don't know about that. Is that something you guys want to see? It is my nightmare. I don't know if it's worthy of blogging. We can look into such things. But anyway, that's part of the reason why. And I do have a little more on the Forza 7 from the guys at GT Planet a little bit later in the show here. Project Cars, so their big event, the eSports League they've got going, it's going on Twitch. Want to let you guys know about that. And, you know, you've got the different groups. So these are all the guys who've qualified for their semifinals is the best wording for it. So things are really starting to heat up in the world of Project Cars. And, you know, one thing that I love, we can all argue all day long, more for vlogging it. Strap a GoPro on Max during the move. Max is going to hate the move. Jamal, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. We're going to get to that. We'll talk about that a little bit at the end of the show. My main point here is, instead of, and I hate the argument over which sim is best, because I think you guys know me well enough. I appreciate every sim for what it brings to the table. What I love is that the esport world is really going at every sim. So we are seeing certain ones getting, you know, different limelight levels, sure. But regardless of what sim you play, chances are there's some form of an esport competition going on. It's just a matter of how cutthroat it is and how much to be gained from winning it. That includes the Formula One. So the final qualifiers from their first event have been determined. They have a whole write-up at the f1esports.com site. I hope so too. That's the other thing. I as you guys know from all the sirens that go by, I'm in a really noisy spot. Where I'm moving is much quieter. I'm hoping. You never know. You never know till you get there. But what we have here is the Xbox One's finalists, the top 10. Flying Finn, I believe, We know who that is. G2, Isaac down in 5th. We know the TRL team. Looking at the PC, you've got Patrick Holzman on the top. Another Logitech guy. Maximilian Liebert, LDLC. That's teammates to Holzman. Another G2, Isaac Price. Enzo, we do believe that's Enzo Benito. Bono Hui and Graham Carroll made it in as well. So some big names there. And then on the PS4, we got Cem Bullock Basic. Another Logitech driver. Who else do I see on that list that I know? No others, but I'm sure those are big names, because at this point, you're not going to get to the top of this without being extremely high up in the ranks. Lechon Franco is in the house. How you doing, buddy? Race Room. We talked about this one. Well, it's now getting ready to go. So the best 18 drivers will qualify for the Mercedes-Benz AMG DTM series. And this is going to be a big deal on Race Room. So look at that. You know, we're talking Forza, Project Cars, F1 2017 to be F1 2018 Race Room. iRacing is all about the esport. Every sim we play, you could be out there doing it, you guys. Man, today is sort of a weird reunion show. Those who are really on the know, they know what we're talking about. Today being kind of a reunion show in a weird way. But what was my point here? I never thought sim racing was going to grow up to this level, is what I'm talking about. You know, 10 years ago, we were even covering the original, like, VWTCC from the guys at Simbin, and it was kind of, it was a great esport competition, but not a lot came out of that in the future. And esport grew up, and now we're looking at it in every sim. But anyway, this weekend is the big VRS Endurance Series. You've got FA Logitech, look at that, leading the way over Pure Racing. Core, TTL, Coanda, Vendaval, SimCube, Hosingveld, Esta, and Odox. I mean, some big names running in these Endurance Series as teams. That's awesome. Just showing you this because they had a cool video, really. But the crew is doing a whole rollout showing you all the different vehicles, and they are getting to the end, I guess, because now they're showing off the plane that you can fly in the driving game. Gosh, we want the crew to be a driving game, but oh, that's cool. Looks fun. Graphics look great. I'm sure this is rather touched up. I mean, that doesn't look like fly view. This looks like cutscene replay view, perhaps. I don't know, but that is something you're going to be able to do in the crew in addition to drive. GT Planet talking about the big patch or update, the April update for Forza. And they talked more on the side of cars that are within it. This is my photo of the day, came from them. That is one of my all-time favorite cars. It wasn't the 924. It wasn't the 944 out of the gates. It was when they turbocharged that little beast. And this is a car that Porsche could have done even more with, I do think. Anyway, that isn't the point of the topic, but GT Planet talks about the updates. In addition to that, they talk about some spoilers on the cars that are leaked, things coming out, and you can find that at GT Planet or at their Twitter feed. What was this? I already covered that, sorry. More on Logitech, just so here's a round if you want to check them out in the ESL, the Project Cars. Here's a lap of their final run. 15,000 euro on the line there. And then here's some of their GRC footage that they're doing as well. Logitech Team, man, they are making their name known and seen in all of these competitions. And if you think back to the Formula One, they're making themselves known in all of the platforms. So right now, in the world of esports, I got to give them credit for being a very young team, because this only came together a matter of months ago. Fernando Alonso, G2 Racing, Logitech Team, they are really taking over. That's what they're doing. They're taking over. For those of you who haven't gotten Assetto Corsa yet, and for those of you who you know, want it, even though the new title is coming out, they have lowered the price on the Xbox and the PS4 versions. This is for the Ultimate Edition, so you're going to get all of the car packs. You're going to get everything they've made content-wise. And let's see, costing €31.99 Euro right now, which is very inexpensive. That's like less than the title itself for everything. So if you haven't, Assetto Corsa is a great, great sim, and you might want to check it out. Cool article here. And we talked about Need for Speed needing to throw in the towel and take a break. Here's an article at Hardcore Gamer telling the guys at Forza how Horizon could be better. And that it really lacks an involved storyline to carry it. Simplify the upgrading. Why is it so complicated? Leave that for Forza. Creativity within the environment, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Forza, to me, was the big title that really surprised me. I had a lot more fun with that than I thought I would when it was announced as not Forza. Anyway, I thought some of you would get a kick out of that. Moving on, will PlayStation 5 go all digital? How many of you have a new computer, relatively new, that doesn't even have a DVD drive? I have two computers here. One of them does, one of them doesn't. I have two laptops. One of them does, one of them doesn't. We're at the point where a DVD drive is not a necessity. Well, the same is likely to occur with the next gen of consoles, Xbox and PlayStation. We might be to the end of the era. It might be where there is no need to buy a physical disc. You might not be able to see them at GameStop. You might not be able to see them at Walmart. You're going to have to buy them online. That's where we're headed, one way or another. Will it be the next gen? I don't know, but I'm 50-50 on my computers. Rocket League, we talked about it happening, and it's coming. It's official. They are going to have big bans for chat. So if you don't keep your mouth in line, you will find yourself on the sidelines in Rocket League, and I think you can expect to see that in a lot more titles to come. I think that's going to be a little bit of a new trend and new direction as they clean up gaming for the young people. Excuse me, let me get a sip of coffee from my Simpit mug here. Yeah, it's funny how things like that works. Where you've got, originally floppies, then it went the big floppies, then it was the hard floppies. You wouldn't even call it a floppy. Then we saw CDs, chips, DVDs, solid state drives. It's amazing how technology changes. And, old schoolers will always resent not getting an instruction manual and a box and all that cool stuff. So old school gamers are going to be more resistant to this. I think young gamers who grew up on their phones, on modern consoles, they don't really know the importance or how cool it is to get that instruction manual and everything that comes with buying a game. DLC is their norm. Downloadable games is their norm. And I see Darren says, Happy 420. I almost started today with Happy 420 because a lot of people actually were commenting on it. And if you look at any Twitter feed, you'll see that's the trend of the day is 420. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then you don't. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But happy 420 to all of you out there. eSport Insider. This is talking about that eSport casino opening up by Millennial eSport something. I can't remember their name. But this is that big downtown venue in the hotel in Vegas. Talking about betting. Talking about people coming in and playing. And again, I talk about who would have thought we'd get to here at this point in time. But, instead of going to Vegas and betting on a boxing match or horses, well, you don't have to go to Vegas to bet on horses, but you could theoretically be betting on gamers, and is this guy going to beat that guy? I'll put $50 on the guy in the red shirt. Wow. I just, and how are the odds going to work? Am I betting against you and the house takes some money? Is it just straight up odds and they're going to take a chance on figuring out how to set odds on gaming, which I can't even imagine that. Here's an article that is kind of scary for a lot of us out here. Being crap at sim racing is the most fun I've had in gaming. So this is at N3R gaming site. And they talk about how in the shop, he's the guy they all clown as the racing geek, and the rest of them play everything else. So a game comes in, it goes to him. And he talks about going into Forza, going back to it, working with controllers, blah, blah, blah. And he does talk about how much fun he had. And getting back to it, he was having a lot of fun. But the scariest thing for me is, and this is the only reason I'm even talking about it, is his final sentence. So there we have it. My name is Alan, and driving in virtual world turns me into a giddy little schoolboy, and I don't give a single bleep. I've just downloaded iRacing. I'm off to punt some poor sucker into the wall at turn 1. Anyway, unfortunately, my point is these guys who play Forza are going to come into the ranks of iRacing and just completely misunderstand how we do things in iRacing. And punting in turn 1 is not really the way to go around iRacing. Thank you. I see some comments up there. Thank you. I'm betting on the big guy. That's right. And thank you on the interview. Yes, that interview. We're going to talk about that in just a little moment. This was sent in, and I have to confess, I'm always, always a little skeptical of everything. Virtually Entertained, Sim Racing Consultancy, their services. This place seems like motorsports management for sim racing. And I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, somebody will correct me. If I'm wrong, Virtually Entertained will correct me. And I don't even care on this topic or where it led my brain in terms of if I'm right, because I really thought we talk about eSport, we talk about this prize money, we talk about what's going on. Well, in anything else in life, whether you're talking acting, real sports, you get a manager. You need somebody to represent you. You know, you might be a great sim racer, but you might be terrible at marketing yourself. We talked about the Formula 1 F1 2017 series and the guys who are going to be drafted. Well, they're not being drafted 100% on talent. It's going to come back to things like marketing. Anyway, we're going to see contracts. We're going to see management deals. We're going to see all the things you see in other pro ranks. Sorry to keep beating that horse, but I don't feel like it's quite dead just yet. Something else sent in to me, so I just like to give leagues credit when they're doing cool things. Full Throttle Sim Racing, they're having an all-star showdown in order to win the rights into the all-star race. So I'm basically showing this, and you can check it out for yourself at fullthrottlesimracing.net. Just so you can see how clean and cool they've laid out. I mean, if you didn't know better, you would assume you were looking at a real racing website. You are looking at a real racing website. But these guys are emulating what I always talk about at that high end of league racing, where they've just got it together. You know, everything you need is at the website the way you want it. It's beautiful. And like I said, it looks legit. It looks real. It looks like I'd see in a real life series. The Drive. You guys might know thedrive.com. They went to one of my favorite playgrounds, and that is CXC Simulations. So this guy went down there and said an hour was enough to show me the importance of top-notch racing simulators. So he got the same tour that Franco and Buccio got. They went down to CXC and got the full tour from Jochen. And this guy went down there and got the full tour and drive from Chris Considine. Drove various different things and a whole cool article at thedrive.com. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to Chris. And if you want to hear all about it, you can just ask William Martinez right here, because he was there just a week ago yesterday doing exactly that. Just a cool video that just, you know, I wish I had the footage, but they do. No, this is at Sharpen's Best on YouTube Beta. But it's getting a look at the Hyundai Racing Simulator. So if you go to a car show, go to the Hyundai booth. The simulator, that's the thing in blue, you guys. Just to be clear, I know we have a lot of guys who are easily distracted here. We're checking out the simulator in blue. And there you go. That's what Hyundai is showing off. Back to eSport again. H1Z1 almost doesn't deserve to be talked about here, but they do show you hopping in vehicles and shooting things and blowing it up. But H1Z1 kicks off an era of Battle Royale eSport events at that Las Vegas venue we were talking about. So what I question and what's a little different about eSport compared to other things is that, well, what do you know? You know, here's H1Z1, by the way. They're going to go right to competing. They're going to go right to betting in Vegas on the outcome of events on games that have just come out. You know, games come out in so much desperate need nowadays of patch and fixes and whatnot that anyway, there are a lot of things they're going to have to figure out at this accelerated rate of eSport, the growth of our sport, hobby, interest of sim racing, and the whole competitive side in general. I don't think they know what they're getting into, and it's happening at a rate that I'm afraid at some point someone's going to come away with some mud on their face, whether it be scandal, cheating, didn't work, and a lot of money and a lot of people on the line, maybe even TV rights or contracts. GamingLife.com shows Brakes are for losers. That is the name of the game. It's an 8-player arcade racing mode for Nintendo Switch. Total top-down racer, which if I'm going to play on a phone, I want it to be kind of goofy like this. So that's something that I would consider if I had one of those. But I love the name. Brakes are for losers. So beyond that, and we are pretty much to the end of the news. One other thing I want to tell you about, something I'll be listening today. I'm going to need some radio background noise. Perfect timing for this. 53 minutes long, and this is George Ortner talking with Billy Strange about Gran Turismo and Race Room, and I'm sure they went on to a few other topics. You can find that at Billy Strange Racing. Our very own Tom Jones threw down the gauntlet this morning. This is a little bit different than our normal throwing of the gauntlet because it's not an official challenge, but he said, hey, have you taken the 240Z out at Long Beach? Well, I did, and I am the best out of 23 people who have done it so far. So a lot of you guys know Tom. He ran a 130.938, taking out the 240Z GTS 2. You'll be able to find it on the leaderboard if you just go by car and make. If you beat Tom, I'd be very thrilled. So send me an image. Show me that you can beat that 130.938 at Long Beach in the Datsun 240, which is my car. That's why you said, why haven't you done this yet, Sean? Beyond that, I'm sorry I didn't make last night's race, and I'm not going to make tonight's race because, again, I have to shut down the studio, just running behind on things. But tonight will be race number 2, week 4 at Donington in the Simpit Exos Challenge. Last night, since I wasn't there, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Ethan Dean won the top split race. Ricardo Mascarenas in second. Eduardo Saw in third. So 3 big hitters. Joa Antonio in fourth. Stand on it. Doug Hawley, John Hill, Sean Seabrand, Leif Helberg, and Will Dawson round out the top 10. I see some other names familiar to our crowd here. Tom Jones, Dave Blair, Rick Longano, Dave Clark. A lot of you guys raced with us. So well done last night, you guys. And in the lower split, I see another couple of our regulars here. Nicholas Ravencroft. Nick came dominant. Nick came at a pace that could have competed in the top split. So he won the race. Jesse Conroy in second. Carl Sousa in third. Just to give you a rundown on the points real quick going into tonight's race, which will be aired on ProSim TNT. Sean, are you going to air the race? ProSim TNT on YouTube. No, we're not doing 1080s. Wait, no, 1080s. Everyone's trying to steal my 1080s. Leading the way in the points so far, going into tonight's final race for the week, Ethan Dean, Ricardo Mascarenas, and Joa Antonio. Beyond that, I have 2 more things to talk about before I shut down for the big move. Uh-oh. I don't even want to end the show because then I have to start moving. And then I don't get to hang out with you guys or race for 3 days. Oh, this is a brutal moment for me. Yesterday, thanks to Darren Ganji, who is in the audience, I do believe, he had offered up 1 code, 1 free download to Simvibe. So Darren is the rep for Sim Experience. They make wheels, sims, motion sims, all kinds of things. But Simvibe, if you don't know it, it is the ultimate thing to have if you have any kind of tactile feedback device, like a butt kicker or something like that. Basically, instead of just using game sound to drive the shaker, you use the game physics to drive the shaker. That's the same kind of technology that runs force feedback, same kind of technology that runs motion system would now run your tactile feedback device. Incredible software, $90 value, and all you had to do was send me an email yesterday saying, I want Simvibe. And so that was it. It was pretty simple. I got a lot of entries, and so right now I'm going to pick a winner. If you guys know me, you know I love random.org. Let me just double check real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 entries. I thought we would have gotten more than that, you guys. I would have entered this for sure. So of our entries, 19, I put 1 as the minimum, 19 is the maximum. We are going to generate a number. Number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bryce Evans is our big winner today. Bryce Evans, I'll reply to your email and send you Darren's way. He will get you taken care of that, and you are going to love Simvibe. I can guarantee you of that. It completely changes. I mean, butt kickers are cool. Butt kickers on Simvibe are insane. So there you go. That's going to have it. The last thing I have to talk about, again, I called it the reunion show to an extent. Darren Ganji is in the audience. And yesterday, actually this morning, I released my Catching Up with Jessica Lopez interview. So you think back of what really helped Inside Sim Racing Tonight grow. And Jessica Lopez was a huge part of it. And she's a very, very special lady. She's driven, she's compassionate, she's enthusiastic, and she did a lot for sim racing, and a lot for our show, and a lot for me, and a lot for Darren, Tommy, and a lot for all of you guys, indirectly or directly. You might not realize what she might have done to make things different than it would have been had she not been part of sim racing. It was really special catching up with her. Hung out with her all day at Long Beach for the Grand Prix. Bucho, Franco, you guys both got to meet her as well, and her son Jaden. Anyway, that interview was an incredible interview and brings back some great memories for all of us if you were fans of the show. And we talk a bit about what she's up to now, a little bit about the past, and a little bit about things we knew or didn't know about it when we were doing it. Anyway, it was a great interview. I had a great time. Thank you, Jessica, for doing it. Thank you, all you guys. I've gotten a lot of compliments, and I'll be sure to let her know as well. Seen some great feedback on that. If you haven't, I do have the link to that video in the description of the show. So I think that's a perfect way to end Friday. I think that's a perfect way to end today's show, and a perfect way for me to sign things off before I pack it down and get set up in Simpit Studios number 3. I think this will be our 3rd studio. Probably going to get a little more attention than this one did. So anyway, you guys, it's Friday. Have a great weekend. Get out there, race. Send me results. Send me images. Go after Tom. Take him down. Go check out Billy Strange's podcast with George. Have a great weekend, and I'll hopefully be back Monday. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.